up for grabs.
Hello, and welcome to Up for Grabs, another one with my favorite two pals, because they're way past cool. Steve and Steve.
Oh man, we're gonna have
What?
Are we gonna have a Sonic Says moment now?
I prefer not to.
Okay,
what
whatever.
I prefer to do is talk about Sonic, as today is his 25th anniversary.
Woo! 25 years.
I thought that was tomorrow.
Shh, it's the 23rd. Okay,
That's
so
something my calendar says.
well, you don't ever know what day it is anyway. So
Wait, I
Shut
thought his
up.
anniversary was in July.
Anyway,
yes, Sonic the Hedgehog was brought into this world on June 23rd, 1991. So 25 years later makes it today. How about that?
math.
Yes. So yeah, 25 years of this pesky little hedgehog that's been rolling around at the speed of sound.
And they've been some good years recently, right?
I mean, not really. not really.
Subpar.
Yeah, subpar is definitely the word for it. But I mean, there have been a few hits here or there. Right now, I'm currently playing a little bit of Sonic Generations, which definitely brought back a lot of the nostalgia that a lot of Sonic fans dearly, dearly missed from some of the better games of his career. But nonetheless, 25 years is still 25 years. That's a long time for any sort of video game series to have its own legacy, I guess you could say. But that's enough out of me. How about you guys? How'd you get introduced to Sonic the Hedgehog?
Well, I definitely got introduced to Sonic the Hedgehog through you, since
right.
I didn't own any console related to Sega, and didn't know what a Sega was, and then I was hanging out with you, and that's how I found out what Sonic was.
Fair enough. Yeah, you had pretty much all the Nintendo stuff, as far as I remember.
Yep.
At least when we were young. And yeah, that was a while ago. But yeah. What about you, Hyman?
Well, let's see. I was that one kid who basically never had any console, so by the time I did get my first console, we were already late into the 16-bit era, as I'm sitting there with an NES in my hands. So,
Well,
So
16-bit, that would be your Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, yeah. So,
okay.
as I'm sitting there, marveling at Mario 3, I see all these other kids around the block playing Sonic 1, 3, and I see posters all around for the Genesis. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to play those games, but I can't. So I was introduced to him a lot later in life, and suffice to say, the first real Sonic game that I owned, I was about, 10 years old at the time, was Sonic R, not for the, what did it come out for? Not the Saturn, I believe.
Saturn or Sega CD or something like that, yeah.
I believe it came out for the Saturn first. Not for the Saturn, but for the home computer.
Yeah. Yeah, I had gotten that too. I think I was like 4.
So if you think you're a hardcore gamer, you don't know nothing till you play some Sonic R with a with the space bar and the arrow keys on your keyboard. It was a nightmare, but it was good memories. It was a lot of fun. I really love the game.
Yes.
That was 98 for the Windows version of Sonic R.
Oh, okay, so I probably would have been about 5 then. 5 or 6 or something. I know I got it like on one of my really young birthdays or something like that. So it was, could have been when I was 5 or something like that. But yeah, actually, I was a bit late to the game, mainly because of the fact that I was not born in 1991. I was born after that, like, well, all of us here. But my brother had a Sega Genesis, and he was, well, my older brother, I should say, so he obviously had worked in some time before I had even a chance to come out of the womb and touch it. So there's that. Yeah, I remember just waking up one day and like, there's my brother. He's on the Sega Genesis, and we've got literally every Sonic game. We had Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D Blast. Actually, I remember getting Sonic 3D Blast for one particular Christmas, which that was sort of a scary experience because the day we got it on that Christmas, throw it in the Genesis, didn't work.
Oh. Wow.
And then we you do the traditional, blow the cartridge, throw it back in the console, try again, doesn't work, blow the cartridge again until it works, and eventually it did. And, my controller just stopped working. Anyway.
Technical difficulties?
I guess we could use that segue of inoperable controller design or inoperable movement or something like that to really talk about, I guess, Sonic's transition from being 2D sprites to 3D models running around in big old open worlds nowadays, huh?
Yeah, the whole transition, I actually, I got to that pretty late too. As avid as I am as a Sonic fan, it wasn't until probably when I was like 10 or 11, maybe 12, that I went over our one friend Marco's house, and I had no idea about any of the Sonic Adventure series, but that was like the first time I had met Marco. I went over his house and stuff, and I see he has a Dreamcast with Sonic Adventure 2 going, and I'm like, is that Sonic? Wait, what have I been doing? Like, what's going on? And basically, that was when I kind of like reinsurged myself back into the whole Sonic fandom of everything, and yeah, it was kind of a weird jump. Not a bad one, but a weird one because the technology seemed for me to just jump really fast. Because before, I'd be playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles all day, and then one day it's like, oh, here's Sonic Adventure 2 for you. Go. And didn't know what to do exactly because, first of all, I had to digest that everything was in 3D, and second of all, I was like, who the hell are half these guys in this game? Which that's been another thing over the years. People have been thinking they've been putting way too many damn characters in the game. I don't know. What do we have now?
Like Shadow.
Anyway? Shadow, see, I give him an exception because, he was the first of those many. But, when they reintroduced, Team Chaotix from Knuckles Chaotix that came out for the Sega 32X, which was a complete failure among many. They came back and they were just like, who are these people? Charmy Bee, Vector the Crocodile, SBO the Chameleon,
Mighty the Armadillo.
Yep. Although he still hasn't
where's Mighty?
Really reappeared. Yeah. So yeah, I pretty much grew up with Sonic. Right now, we're doing this recording. I have a shelf behind me with a ton of Sonic collectibles that I've gotten over the years, and it's just become a thing because I don't know. But needless to say, 25 years. Although Sonic's had quite a few successes, he has not been on his game. Now I'll give you my opinion when that started to happen. So we got into 3D stuff, right? We had Sonic Adventure. We had Sonic Adventure 2. Those weren't bad. Those, obviously brought Sonic into the third dimension of things, which wasn't a bad idea because that's what everybody was doing. That's what Mario did within the Nintendo 64 and all that, and that seemed to work out pretty damn well. So, Sonic Adventure 2 happened, then you had stuff like Sonic Heroes and all sorts of fun stuff. But then we got into a more modern era on the Xbox. And that was Sonic the Hedgehog most infamously known as Sonic 06 because it came out in 2006. And the promises that were said for that game but were never made, and the loading times, and the loading times, and the loading times, and the poor story and execution of gameplay and plot, and oh my goodness. I mean, there's a reason why the guys on Game Grumps, they did like, I don't know, almost 100 some episodes of that, and they quit right before the end because they just couldn't take that game anymore because it was so bad. And since then, last 10 years or so, Sonic just has had very, very few successes in between. I mean, right now I'm playing Sonic Generations, as I mentioned. That was kind of like recalling the past and, just getting the players all their feels back and stuff. And, that was all great because it touched on all different parts of Sonic's good years, I guess you could say. But then, games just weren't as good. Now we have things these days called Sonic Boom, and most recently announced Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric. I don't even want to talk about that game because it's so terrible.
I think you mean Sonic Boom Fire and Ice.
Well, yeah, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. Yeah, Sonic Boom: The Rise of Lyric or whatever that
was
came
the original.
Out, 2 years ago or something like that, and now recently the sequel or whatever, Fire and Ice. I don't understand the redesign they did, like how everything's all Western. Knuckles is like 50 times bigger. Tails is, well, I mean, Tails is still annoying and whatever, but as a longtime Sonic fan, can't approve of what they've done as of late. And I don't know. They apparently have. There's still been rumors outside of this. The Sonic Boom Fire and Ice thing that they announced. I can only hope that there's something else outside of that because they're not going to go anywhere. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should they go back into like a more original type of idea of what Sonic was built on, or try to go into the modern series sort of stuff just with like a better plan? I guess.
I'm actually, you good?
Well, the way I see it, even just looking at it at first glance, Sonic Boom, oh god, on a technical level is a freaking train wreck. You got slowdown, you got the game. Okay, for a character who's specifically designed, or at least his motto is gotta go fast, you don't go fast in that game. You're constantly stopping, waiting, looking at things. You're doing not essentially quick time events, but you're doing like battle arenas with minions and mooks and things like that. It's just like, this isn't Sonic. It's not what we grew up with, but it's just not good. It's not a good change.
Right.
Hopefully they can, keep the aesthetics, keep the look of Sonic Boom, because I don't mind it, to be honest. I mean, okay, Sonic is running around with a scarf and some duct tape on his hands. Okay, sports tape. They're supposed to be sporty, always getting injured, running around, having fun, being teenagers and whatnot. Knuckles is supposed to be, the brawn, so they built him up to look stronger, to really play the part. Because I guess, I don't know, back in the day in his original design, it's kind of weird how he's able to break bricks and still have pipe cleaners for arms.
Well, he has the pointy nipples on his hand that he uses to break rock. I don't see what the issue is here.
It just, the nipples had to go, or at least they had to be.
They still have them.
That's the problem. You need the body to better complement the nipples. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying you need a bigger chest to really show off those nipples, is what you're saying.
I mean, with as big as nipples he has on his hands. Why are we talking about hand nipples? Okay. But the point is, they should keep the Sonic Boom aesthetic, keep the look, but bring it back to Sonic's roots. More of his 8-bit style, gotta get from the left to the right in the fastest way possible. Mm-hmm. None of this 3D open world going in somewhat of a straight direction, picking up 100 rings and then suddenly not able to pick up anymore. What was up with that? Anyway, so just do that. Then take a page.
You're thinking completely try to stay out of the 3D realm of things.
With the Sonic Boom part.
Or at least like the 2.5D where everything's three-dimensional, obviously, but it plays in just 2 dimensions.
Exactly.
Okay.
But then take a page from essentially Mega Man, and by that I mean having 2 separate series. Have the Sonic Boom with a 2-dimensional left to the right, and then go back to revamp the Sonic Adventure series. Have them both going simultaneously. Mm-hmm. Because mixing the 2 worlds doesn't flow very well. It's better you focus on one and then focus on the other to really balance it out.
The gameplay styles, I don't think, really have to differentiate themselves from the actual style of the game. Like, okay, take for instance, I thought when they first got into like a more modern stuff like 3D with Sonic Adventure and stuff, that stuff worked. Like it played well. I mean, the levels weren't so like streamlined as they are with all the more modern games today, where you're basically just pressing the X button like I am right now to like just boost and like clear everything that's in your path just because you're holding the X button down. Like back in like Sonic Adventure 2, most specifically, like you actually had to use like a little bit of strategy getting through those levels, but it was still doable. It was still feasible in a 3D environment. But at the same time, they had stuff like the Sonic Advance series, which still stuck to like the same design of the characters, but obviously played in that more 2D classic Sonic format. And it still worked well because it was still modernized in the sense of the look and feel of the game, but the gameplay was still, classic 2D stuff. And it had like a few little features here or there, but like nothing game changing, like where it doesn't feel like Sonic anymore. That's sort of what I feel they should go back to. Go back to, if they don't want to change the aesthetics, that's fine, but getting the gameplay to where it's fun, I think they need to figure that bit out, most especially because not only having them fun, but like play tested and bug tested and working, that would probably help too.
That's for sure.
I don't know. I hope whatever comes out in the next months or years or whatever, I don't care. If I see a Sonic Adventure 3, they better do it right. They better be a legit plot, not this plethora of characters that don't really matter. You only need about like, I don't know, a maximum of it was 6, I guess you could say, like how they did with Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. But like, the gameplay just needs to work. And I think they'll be fine if they figure that out. That's where I'm at. Scott, I know you haven't played many of the more modern games anyway.
Let's just say I don't think I played more than 10 minutes of a game made after Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Though I did see some decent amounts of gameplay from Generations, and I did think it looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, Generations, it basically, took all those good levels from, every good Sonic game and every, a couple of the meh ones, but regardless, the gameplay was mostly solid. But it still has, it stuck to a format where it's like you can play as both classic and modern Sonic, so maybe that helped serve a wider audience. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, you kind of had to play as both to actually progress through the game, so because that's kind of where the plot's built around. I don't know, whatever. Gameplay's gameplay and plot is plot, but yeah, I just hope to see a nicer return of Sonic somewhere in the future before Sega decides that, oh, well, we're not making any more games. We're out of money. We're done. Because they haven't done too much with Sonic, and that's kind of been the big deal for the last 25 years now, is not having a good Sonic game. So, well, 10 years, whatever. So, yeah. Happy 25th birthday to you, Sonic. Get well soon. That's all I gotta say.
We'll see.
Yeah. Any last comments, words?
No, I've been mostly quiet. I think I'll stay that way.
Okay. Catch you later, folks.
Bye, everybody.
Gotta go fast.